Welcome back to the 90 More Podcast. My name is Kosi. Welcome back to the Weekend Audit, a show where we run through the Premier League action that happened over the weekend and we ask the questions, what went wrong? Manchester United losing 7-0 to Liverpool. That was a disaster. Manchester City continuing winning against Newcastle, and Arsenal a late dramatic win against Bournemouth. Brighton beating West Ham 4-0. What exactly went wrong for West Ham? I think there are big questions to ask of David Moyes in that game and that West Ham team. Otherwise, they could actually go down. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. Let me know in the comment box what went wrong for your team, Arsenal. How did you reach a point of conceding 2 against Bournemouth when next thing that you have to win the game in the 97th minute? What went wrong? I would love your thoughts. I would love your opinions in the comment box below as well. Let's get into the action. Now, match number 1 was Newcastle against Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium. I thought this was a game where Newcastle could have actually bounced back. And I thought Newcastle really played very well for the first 70 minutes of the game until that second goal for Manchester City came in. I have a problem with Audit and his substitutions in this game over the weekend. I thought the starting 11 did very, very well. There was only one player that I thought maybe needed to come off, and that was Joelinton. And when he made the substitutions, he made a 3 substitution, gang. And he actually doesn't take off Joelinton. And when he makes the substitution, Joelinton then misses a sitter. And the moment they miss that, Manchester City step up. Bernardo Silva comes onto the pitch for Manchester City. Then they score a second one, and the game is totally away from them. It's one game that actually shows you what Newcastle are going through. They're not scoring goals. They are defensively porous as well. It's a good time to play Newcastle, and Manchester City will be very, very happy right now that they played a Newcastle that is toothless. They played a Newcastle that is not going to disturb you defensively. They're not going to score goals for you. They are finding it very difficult to score goals and do that. City on the other side were not that great as well. They didn't create the chances we thought they would create. Of course, Phil Foden scoring earlier on in the 15th minute. That actually did a great good for them. It's a game that I thought each team cancelled the other out very well until Manchester City displayed. I think they just displayed that extra bit of quality, and they won it. 2-0 for Manchester City. They had a chance to go 2 points within Arsenal's range. They did, but of course it wasn't for long before Arsenal actually completed that 3-2 comeback and they went back on top of the table. That game means that Manchester City will have to wait for another weekend for Arsenal to either drop points or Man City to continue winning, but it's going to be a very interesting tie to run. It's going to be a very, very interesting one that if we go through April and Arsenal are still on top of the table, it's one where we might see one team winning it on the deadline day. It's one where we might see any team win the Premier League on the D-Day. But let's wait and see. Manchester City winning that game on the evening on Saturday, on the afternoon on Saturday. Aston Villa 1, Crystal Palace 0. I said this, Crystal Palace are no longer that quality side that we know. I think the manager wasn't backed, wasn't backed enough. They lost Conor Gallagher in that midfield, and ever since then, life has been very, very difficult at the Selhurst Park. Now they did pick up a red card, which actually did do them any better in the first half, I think. And Aston Villa in this game, these are the kind of games that Unai Emery actually thrives on. He keeps on winning these games, and you'll never see him or his team in the conversation of the bottom 3. I don't think Aston Villa will ever be there. Maybe it doesn't pick the big boys enough, the likes of Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool, and all these guys. But in my opinion, this is a game that Aston Villa had to win, and they won it. And I think that's the difference between Villa and Crystal Palace this season. Villa are winning points and picking up points where they should pick them up, and Crystal Palace are dropping points where you think maybe they could have a goal. Maybe they could. Maybe they're dropping points, and that is the difference between these two sides. But it was a quality game, and if you watched it, I am sure you really enjoyed that. Arsenal 3, Bournemouth 2. Interesting game. Arsenal conceding the second earliest goal in the history of the Premier League, scored by Fit Billing. Now, that was straight off the training ground. And I know Mikel Arteta said in his press conference that it was poor from the team defensively, but I don't think it was very, very poor. I think it's one of those starts where I feel like it's going to go out for a throw-in. It's going to go out for a corner. Maybe my mate is going to clear it. and it ends up in the back of the net. Now, I am very, very disappointed. As an Arsenal fan, I'm really happy that we came up with 3 points, but I'm so disappointed with Gary O'Neill. Is it Martin O'Neill, Gary O'Neill, the Bournemouth manager? I'm very disappointed. Now, he starts up with a 5-4-1 system, which I think for a club like Bournemouth, coming at the Emirates Stadium, that is what you have to play. They get a goal. They sit in shape very well for 45 minutes of the first half. That is where you've got to change it up. That is the moment where you've got to change it up. Because your goal up, it's 45 minutes to go. How about giving Arsenal a fight? How about giving Arsenal something to challenge them? And I think it's even worse. This result looks even worse because they got 2 goals up within 59 minutes of the game. So you have 30 minutes to go to defend the game. You're doing all your time wasting. Of course, I don't have a problem with a team like Bournemouth doing the time wasting. It's disgusting, but I don't have a problem with it. But what I have a problem with is Bournemouth have lost points, like all points, from a point where they've led 2 goals up in this season. I think 3 times against Tottenham, against Arsenal, and I think the other game was against Nottingham Forest, to be honest. So, but on the other side, Arsenal fans will feel that this team is now ready to win the Premier League. The character, the resilience, the energy, the passion, the relentlessness. Arsenal had 30 goals on goal. They tried 30 times to score a goal. And that is absolutely massive. And you look at the quality of chances that Arsenal eventually created. It wasn't those beautiful chances that a player is through on goal, 1v1, or Martin Odegaard slipping it through. It wasn't that. It was Emile Smith-Rowe handing it back in and Thomas Partey finding himself at the end of it. It was, Reece Nelson crossing the ball and, Ben White hitting it ugly. It goes into the back of the net. The goalkeeper clears it after it is beyond the line. And then that thunderbolt for Reece Nelson. Now, I've already said that Arsenal could be winning the title every time they win in a very fashionable manner, right? But how many title deciding moments will Arsenal have? Bournemouth 3-2 from 2-0 down, that is a title defining moment. 4-2 against Aston Villa after losing 2-1 or trailing 2-1 at halftime. That is also impeccable and remarkable. Winning 4 games in a row after losing to Manchester City, Everton, and drawing to Brentford, that is also season defining. So if Arsenal win it, for me, they will be well deserved. And that means Arsenal go 5 points clear on the Premier League table again for another week. Chelsea found their first win of, is it 2023 in the Premier League? Have they won, a game in 2023? Wesley Fofana on target. Of course, this is a game where Potter needed to win. And his remarks after that game, he says he's happy for the fans because they deserved something to make them happy. And of course, you're happy for Chelsea fans. You're happy for the manager as well. He was under a lot of pressure. The problems have actually not gone away for Chelsea. Defensively, they have not been a shambles, but the problem is scoring. The goals. Wesley Fofana again getting on the score sheet. He's not the guy that you expect to be, scoring for you. He's not the guy that you expect to be getting you a goal every week. The likes of Kai Havertz, the likes of Joe Felix, the likes of Dotro Fofana, the likes of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang should start scoring for Chelsea. Otherwise, the problems are going to be here and they're going to be here for good. But one thing I liked about this game from Chelsea is that they were not even the better side. They were not even the better side against Leeds United. Leeds United had much better, ball possession, passing accuracy, XG, shots on goal, shots on target. They were much better. But Chelsea scoring that goal and hanging in there, that shows you that is what you actually want from a manager. That is what you want from a Chelsea side. It's not all about winning it purely clean. It's about winning it. Right about this time, it's about getting the fans behind the team. And if you win 3 games in a row, trust me, the fans will be behind this Chelsea team. It's going to be much, much better. So Chelsea winning their first game, that was absolutely massive as well. Brighton 4, West Ham 0. What is happening in the fucking Premier League? What's going on in the Premier League? Brighton in that game purely relentless. Danny Welbeck on goal, on target. McAllister on target as well. And of course, my man, Cairo Mitoma on target as well. I tell you what, West Ham could find themselves going down this season. And I'm not saying this because they lost 4-0. I'm saying this because they lack any qualities of a team that is fighting for survival. They lack any qualities of a team that is ambitious enough to stay up. You look at the likes of Southampton, Bournemouth go 2-0 up at the Emirates Stadium, and West Ham go to the Amex, and they lose 4. They have the guts to lose 4-0. It's unbelievable. It's unforgivable. You've got to do better than that. But Brighton, of course, quality side. I said it in the match preview, in the weekend preview, that it's a game where that Brighton are gonna win. It's a game where they will need to win, and eventually they are back to winning ways. Wolverhampton Wanderers won. Tottenham Hotspur 0. Conte has to go, man. Conte has to go. Listen, it's one of those weekends that doesn't bring anything new for Tottenham Hotspur fans. It's one of those weekends where it's the same script, the same implementation of the script, and the same result. You can't do things the same way and you expect to get different results. It's one thing Antonio Conte has got to understand, and whoever is managing this Tottenham Hotspur side, they've got to understand. They really, really have got to understand. You can't do things in a similar way and expect different results, especially better results. Okay, I'm looking at this game. Wolverhampton Wanderers, Tottenham Hotspur. Wolves actually had a chance to go 2-0 up, but they had a goal cancelled. Tottenham are fighting for the top 4 with Liverpool, with Newcastle, with whoever they're fighting with. And you look at the other sides that are trying to fight for the same spot. Liverpool have gone 7 now, unbeaten. Newcastle, of course, are trash. We understand that. They're trash. They have lost almost every single game they played in recent weeks. But Tottenham Hotspur failed to capitalize on those chances. And that is where the problem is. The problem with Tottenham is not with how good we are. The problem with Tottenham is that they cannot even pick up points where you feel like this is their opportunity. For me, Antonio Conte is not the guy. Whenever you have a manager that is emotionally, psychologically disconnected from the club, he's got to go. I don't understand all this bullshit and crap of he's going to stay until the summer and then he leaves. Why? Why has this got to stay until the summer? Right? What if Tottenham don't get to 4? They go back to the Europa League. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace from Antonio Conte, and he's got to stop doing that. He's got to stop doing that. It is disgusting. Purely disgusting. Southampton 1, Leicester City 1. It's a game where you feel like Leicester City had a chance to win, but Southampton are slowly but surely trying to write their name on the clubs, among the clubs that will be playing in the Premier League next season. They picked up some quite vital points. 3 points against Chelsea, 3 points now against Leicester City. I think they give me mixed reactions. Southampton. At times they're very, very poor. And at times they're very, very good. Right? And like in this game, they did just enough to get through the 3 points. And you think when they play like this, clubs like Everton, clubs like West Ham, clubs like Leeds United are actually standing a bigger chance of going down than Southampton. But that was a good win. Leicester City, what's happening? They've lost now 3 of their last 3 games in the Premier League. Southampton, Arsenal, and Man United have all beaten them. And the question for me with Brendan Rodgers is, you have found a starting 11 that does well. You've found a midfield that does well, and a strike partnership that is actually bringing the goals. What is going on? Can someone explain to us why Leicester City are having all these, swings in terms of form? No doubt they will stay up. I don't see them going down. I don't even see them in that conversation for the title. But I want someone to explain to me why Leicester City are this bad. All right. But Southampton, what a result for them. They absolutely deserved it in the end. Nottingham Forest 2, Everton 2 is one game where Johnson had a show. What a player. I want to ask you guys in the comment section, do you think Brennan Johnson could be a Liverpool quality of a player? Like, does his quality fit into Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United? Maybe. Maybe not Man City, but Is he at that level? I mean, can he, go to that level? Because when I look at him, how precisely he does his things, how confidently he does these things. For me, he's the best player at Nottingham Forest. I don't care about all these other players. There is one player at Nottingham Forest, and that is Brennan Johnson. The second goal he scores is absolutely class. How he's not scored a hat-trick in that game? He should come here and give me $10,000 because you must be scoring a hat-trick in that game. Look, this boy is pure quality. This boy is pure class. But I have a problem with Everton. They go a goal up. Brendan Johnson equalizes. They go 2-1 up. Brendan Johnson equalizes. As Everton, you can't afford such luxuries. You don't have the time. You don't have the liberty. You don't have the luxury to afford such luxuries. The moment you go a goal up as Everton, game over. You win it. If you're willing to stay up, right? And Sean Dyche absolutely, I think he tried to have a goal against the team that he feels they're at the same level. But in my opinion, it was a huge mistake. Liverpool 7, Manchester United 0. What actually happened? What in the actual fact was that? 7-0, Liverpool, Gadi Gakpo 2, Roberto Firmino 1, Salah 2, and Darwin Núñez 2. Man United have capitulated. Have they been found out? Was it just a bad day in office? Is it that Manchester United have been playing in a dangerous game and they have eventually paid the price? What happened to Manchester United? I'm going to tell you this. I don't think Liverpool were as great as everyone thinks. I'm sorry. I think Man United were poor, below par. Those goals that Liverpool scored, I try to look back at each and every goal. The first goal, Cody Gakpo, the pass from Robertson is class. But it's foolish from Man United. Foolish. How is Cody Gakpo having a lot of space? How is Robertson, playing that ball without any pressure? It's very poor from Rafa Varane. It's very poor from Rafa Varane because Rafa Varane literally makes, Cody Gakpo uses Rafa Varane as a yardstick to determine how do I bend it around the goalkeeper. I think it's very poor from Rafa Varane. Then the second goal and the third goal come within the first 5 minutes. Is it 5 minutes of the second half? Man United, that is very poor. That is that's purely poor. And when they got 3-0 down, that's where the problem was. And that's why I think Liverpool were not as good as everyone thinks they are. Because Man United then switch off. Man United give up. Man United go, we've lost this game, right? They didn't know how to react. And Eric Ten Hag as a manager, bringing on Scott McTominay in that game? Ten Hag, bro? In that game? Come on. That was a massive mistake. So, Liverpool completely annihilated Man United. I think this result will have psychological effects on Man United. They could be positive, where they go, we want to prove everybody that we've not actually been this shit. We are a good team. It was a bad day in office. So this is how we respond. Or it could have negative effects where players don't believe in themselves, where players go, oh, we've been this bad. How have we even been winning games? But I trust Eric Ten Hag will actually bounce back. But watch out for Liverpool. Whoever hasn't played Liverpool at the Anfield, please do watch out. That is the weekend audit from me, Kosi. Hit the like button, subscribe to the 90 More podcast for all this greatness and all this beautiful, wonderful content. I'll see you right in the next one.